Hi everybody, hope you're all having a great day. On Instagram yesterday I posted a picture of these hexagons that I made, and I still don't know what I'm going to use them for, but I really like them, so that's why I posted the picture to share them with you. And I had a few requests for a video. And I thought, well, I have lots of hexagons left over, so I could make some more and record them. And then I remembered that I had actually initially recorded this process because I was doing it for an art journal layout, which I did, and it turned out total crap, so I didn't post it. But the making of these hexagons are in the video, so I edit it, and I am posting it for you. So I also get asked a lot of the time on my jelly printing videos what paper I use, and this paper is just the cardstock that I pick up from Michael's. It's 65 pounds, and I believe it's not I know it's from Recollections. And like I said, it's just 65 pounds, and I usually use white. There has been times where I have used a gray, only because I was out of white. So here I am taking my, is it 8.5 or 8 by 11 jelly printing plate? I wish I had a 6 by 6. It was not really necessary. I mean, you have bigger ones, you don't really need the 6 by 6, but then I wouldn't have all that paint around the edge that I have to cover with paper so I don't get messy. So if you don't want to see jelly printing, then, fast forward to the hexagons. But I am doing some jelly prints here, and they're pretty basic. I'm not doing anything fancy at all. Just laying down some paint and the stencil and taking some prints and a ghost print. Now for quite a few of them, it's been a while since I jelly printed, and so out of practice, as you can see here, I was using way too much paint. And some of the prints, you can tell there was just too much paint on them. But in the end, it turned out okay. I picked certain ones to use for the hexagons. Like I said, I have a lot left over. I have a pile of them. And I don't think I'll be doing the embossing on all of them because it is very tedious. It's a bit much. It's fine if you only have a few to do, but to do 2 or 3 dozen of them, I think I would go insane. So I didn't think about, I should be telling you what these stencils are. I will list them down below, and after my voiceover, I'll have it come up on the screen, the name of the stencils. They're all by the Crafters Workshop, and they're all new ones from the 2019 winter release. As you can see here, I have way too much paint. Even after brayering it off with a second clean brayer, there's still way too much. I think if I remember correctly, the first one just is horrible. Yeah, see? I think I get 4 pulls out of this one application. I like it when you pull a print and you get the under layers of paint and it comes out a little bit grungy. Those are my favorite jelly prints. Like that. Yeah, 4 prints from that one application of paint. And I still have all that paint over to the side that I'm wiping off. I had actually intended on doing jelly prints for every single new stencil release. And I cut a lot of paper and I thought I had plenty, but I was so heavy-handed with the paint that I was getting a lot of pulls. And I ran out of paper and I'm like, okay, I have enough for what I actually need. So I didn't do a print of every single new stencil. See, too much paint. Here I'm just trying to pull up the extra paint. See, and look at all that. That's too much paint. I clearly need to jelly print more because I'm forgetting how to do it. Just ended up making a mess. A little paint goes a long way when you're jelly printing. And you can tell when you have too much paint. I mean, when you lay down the stencil and the stencil is like squishing around, you know you have too much paint. And that was happening to me a few times. See? You can tell in the lines that the stencil had moved when I was pulling the print. I ended up not liking this one at all when I pulled it. And now later that I looked at it, that one there I actually like. So here I'm cleaning my stencils, which I don't normally do. But like I said, I was so heavy with the paint that it was just caked on there. So I decided to give them a little bit of a cleaning. I'm not being too picky, like trying to get every little single bit of paint off, but there was just too much left on there. I had to clean them. And look how pretty it looks when you're cleaning it off. That's just two baby wipes laid down on the desk. And then I'm cleaning it with another baby wipe. And I was just doing this for cleaning purpose. It wasn't to be making anything more. But in the end, I was liking the pattern on the flat baby wipes so much that I couldn't just toss it in the garbage. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I have one idea, but we'll see. When I do the pink one is when it really pops. There's so much paint. So look at that. This one's my favorite. See, how am I supposed to throw that out? I just couldn't. It looked too pretty. So first I was going to dry it with a heat gun. I'm like, no, I don't have the patience for this. And I wanted to get to work on the other stuff. So I just put a paper clip, not a paper clip, one of those things. I can't think of what they're called right now. But I just clipped them and hung them up on a couple nails that I have on my wall for hanging paintings and stuff. So I just hung them up and let them dry while I continued to work. So look at that. They're fully dry here now. I think I'll do this more often. And here I'm just going to show you the prints that I pulled. They're nothing, like I said, nothing fancy. It wasn't about the print exactly. It was just getting some of the prints on paper. So I'm going to cut them up. That's some pretty bad jelly printing done right there. But there'll be areas that one's not too bad. But there'll be areas that when you punch them, you won't even notice that they were sloppy prints. I love that one. That one's really bad. I like that one too, because it's got that grunginess. I usually like the ghost pool more than I like the first one. I mean, both are nice, but I usually like it like that after I take off the stencil. See the... But like I said, that one on the right and the bottom, I actually don't mind it so much now. Okay, here I'm just taking my hexagon punch and I'm going to punch out a whole bunch of hexagons. As simple as that. I love the colors in this one. I love the combination of the yellow and the magenta. But how it creates just a really pretty orange. Yeah, some of them I like too much and I didn't want to cut up. And I didn't really need to because I had so many that I could spare some of the prints. This one doesn't have much detail at all. Not because of the stencil, but because I added too much paint. So as you can see on that print right there, there's lots of detail. I think that one, there's a lot that I don't want to cut up either because I love the grunge on it. And I know I can make more prints. You're never going to get the same thing twice. Unless you do a very basic pull, no mixing of paints, no leaving on previous layers, and you just go straight one color and clean your plate after and then do another straight one color, that's probably the only way you're going to get the same prints. I still don't know what I'm going to do with all these hexagons. The layout that I tried to use them for, oh my gosh, it was so nasty. And I have the video for it, and I'm kind of tempted to post it because it's that bad. It's so bad it's funny. Okay, so here I'm taking some Versamark and I'm laying the jelly print face down to get it coated, and I'm dipping it in, I think this is actually is it UTTEE? I don't know, it's clear embossing powder anyways, basically. And first when I heat it, that heating gun is so powerful that you can't put it close right away because it'll just blow off all the embossing powder. So you have to start far back and let it heat up the powders a little, and then you can get closer. It's a bit of a pain, but you get used to it. There was an area that I missed with the embossing powder, and that's why I'm doing the second coat. But I end up actually liking the 2 coats, so I end up putting 2 coats of embossing powder on all of them. I always find the things that you love, how they turn out, are usually things that were such a pain to do. I guess it makes it all worth it in the end. Maybe that's why they turn out so beautiful, so we'll actually want to do it again. But there's some things I find so tedious. Like, I don't know why. You're probably looking at it like, really, it's pretty simple. Why is it so annoying? But to me, it just was. I think maybe if the crystals didn't blow away so easily. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too impatient. But it just looks so pretty when it's done. Like the paint colors just pop. Like these are pretty even just left as is, like with the clear embossing powder on it melted, and leave it at that. Don't do any more steps. I mean, they're pretty just like that. In the original, in the original video, I had actually turned off my music in the background and turned everything off. And like when I get to applying the paint, the voiceover that you hear, that's actually me talking during the video. So if you find there's a difference in the sound, that is why. It's not yet. It's when I get to the paint part and I start talking. I think here I'm just trying to decide, okay, do I do more? Like, it's so pretty, but I really don't want to do it. But of course I cave and I do more. I only did, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 in the end. So I put 2 layers of clear embossing powder on them, and I'm going to, I don't know if I'm going to regret it, but I'm going to crack them and then apply paint over it so it'll get in the cracks, and then add a little bit of Inca Gold. So we'll see. I'm still not entirely sure how I'm using them. I had one idea for a layout in my art journal, That's my washing machine playing a tune. I have one idea, but I don't know if I want to use these or if I just want to use the plain paper. So we'll see. I'm just playing. To get them to crack, I'm just bending them. Surprisingly, it doesn't crack very easily. Some spots do. I'm guessing maybe it's where it's thicker in certain areas. Ooh, tore that one. So pretty. The embossing powder really brings out paint. Makes the colors look more vibrant. Oh, that one did a nice shatter. Although I did find with this, oh, it picked up after. Didn't pick up the tiny cracked lines as well as the big ones. Which is a shame because the tiny ones look really cool. I know there may be a trick to getting it to work, but I don't know what it is. And if you crack it and you don't like it, just reheat the embossing powder. I think it should go back all nice and solid. I'll even test it for you to see if it will. So I have a few cracks right here in the middle. I'll reheat it and see if it'll work. It did work. I thought it would, but thought I'd better test it just in case. Now I could probably heat it a little bit more because you can see still a little bit of a bend. But I'm not going to bother because I'm just going to crack it again. But yes, so if you decide you don't like it, you can just reheat it. Or if it ever happens accidentally. Okay, so I just need to wait for that one to cool down so I can crack it. It's still too warm. Yeah, it's just, when it's warm, it's actually pliable. But I want it to crack, not ply. So I'll wait for that one to cool down. While I'm waiting, I can apply some paint to these. So I'm just going to take a little bit on my finger and work it in. Sometimes I'll bend it along the cracks to really try and get it in there. So to be not need a third hand, I'm just squeezing the paint tube with the side of my hand just lightly so some paint will squeeze out. This is the one with a bunch of small cracks in it that I really like. I'm hoping I'll pick it up. You can always do it just a little bit and let that dry. Clean it off and then see if you want it darker. You could use a different color. It doesn't even have to be brown. I'm just using brown because I kind of want that just old, worn look. But I mean, you could go in, oh, hold on. So you could go in with a different color, like turquoise, like a bright color like turquoise or pink, or something totally contradicting to what's already there. Or you can go with black to make it even darker. I wouldn't go with white because I don't think white would really do much of anything. Okay, so I have paint on all of them, except for that one because that one's already done. So I'm just going to take a dried baby wipe, spritz a little bit of water in there to take off the paint that's on the surface. Hopefully I didn't let it dry too much. Maybe I'll just use the baby wipe. This is a wet baby wipe, because I let the paint stay longer than I maybe should have. Okay, that one is not in the cracks as much as I would like it to be. None of them are. I like how if I leave it, I can leave some of the dried paint around the edges. So there are some benefits of letting it dry on there. Hasn't really gone in the cracks a whole lot, but I really still liking how it's looking. I might have to go in with some more. Ooh, this one worked well. I don't know what made this one work so well, but that one looks awesome. Ooh. I'm sorry, I'm a little excited. This one really looks good too. Look at that. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna go back in. I love where there's like big chunks of it. This one needs more. Oh, I wish I could get it into little cracks. I'm gonna try some of the fluid. See if it'll get in there more. I'll let that sit. Oh, stab myself. Don't do that. going to take some Inca Gold. And rub it in. Now, I'm not used to playing with this stuff either. This is the first one I have. I have the little small Art Alchemy waxes, but I don't have any of this, so don't really know what I'm doing. Just playing. Trial and error. That's how I learn most things. That and YouTube. YouTube is fantastic. Be lost without it. I just enjoy it. Rub that paint in a bit more. Still gonna let that sit. Now I'm gonna try rubbing this. Camera shut off and I don't know at what point it did that. I'm using the wet baby wipe instead of the dry paper towel. Yeah, you can see the paint and the Inca Gold going around the cracks. Some of the small cracks still didn't get anything. That's okay. It still looks cool. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing with these. I'm going to add a bit more to this one. But the reason why I don't usually talk during my videos is either because somebody's upstairs and I don't want to feel silly. I know I'm being silly, but I'm shy when it comes to certain things, and that just makes me feel weird. Or also my husband might be sitting in the other part of the basement, and I definitely don't want to be talking to the video camera while he's out there. Or he's watching YouTube videos, and you'll hear saws and drills and all kinds of woodworking tools. So usually I just record and mute the video and do a voiceover if I talk. But right now nobody is upstairs. My husband is in the garage, so you may hear right now it sounds like he's sawing. Hand saw, not electric, so it's not too loud. I feel like I wiped everything off of that one. That's not good. Same with this one. Yeah, I think the regular acrylic paint works better than the high flow. Where it's thicker, it works better. So I'm going to go back in. I feel like I just took it all off. Sometimes I'll bend it along the cracks as I'm rubbing the paint, so hopefully it's like getting in there. Whether it's helping or not, I don't know, but I'm trying it. This is the one with a bunch of fine cracks in it that I wish I could really show. I'm just going to bend. Ooh, see, I think I got it. I'm not getting these. Just bend along the crack and rub it. I'm a mess. Looks kind of pretty and grungy. Okay. And let that dry a little more. Look at these while we're waiting. This looks so pretty. You're not seeing as much of the paint except for some baked areas for some reason. I don't know if it's seeped under, but the Inca Gold really shows up. And I like that. This one you have some good paint and Inca Gold. This would be cool for doing jewelry. Like if you like that sort of thing. I don't know if I would actually wear it, but some of it looks like it would make nice jewelry pieces. See? Husband. He's one. And that is the reason I usually do voiceovers instead of talking during my videos. Plus I can't listen to music if I'm talking during the video. So I did that once before, and YouTube wouldn't play it because, you know, the music, you know, copyright, all that stuff. And I love listening to music or watching Netflix when I play. It's usually what I do. And we got a record player. And we actually bought records before we got a record player. We were at an antique store. I love antique stores. And we saw some records, and there was some that just reminded me of being a kid, like my dad had the records. What did I pick up? Trooper and Burton Cummings, which I like 2 songs on it, and it's not when he was part of Guess Who, it's just him, Burton Cummings. I can't speak. And ended up not really caring for it. There's 2 songs on it that I love, and the rest of it, it's no thank you. Not my thing. It was his 3rd album, I think, that he did on his own, and it wasn't that great. But we did get some good stuff. And for the life of me, I can't really think of them at the moment. Well, Billy Joel, that one didn't remind me of my dad, but I can't think of what ones reminded me of my dad. No, there's Trooper, Bonnie Tyler, the Burton Cummings one reminded me of him. Yeah, I'm not having an easy time thinking of it at the moment. Okay, so these are like, it just doesn't want to, it's like it's going to take as much as it's going to do. I don't think it wants any more. I think it's just coming right off. But they still looks cool. This one I actually did get some of the paint in the finer cracks. I don't know if it's showing up on camera. I find when I'm doing the videos, I'll look up at the viewer, and it doesn't look like it's clear. Like, to me, looking at it, it looks like you're not catching the details. But then when I'm editing my videos, I'm like, oh, you can see it. And here I am being a moron, like trying to really get it for you. Meanwhile, you've been seeing it the whole time. Okay, so I'm going to end that here for now until I figure out what next. So that is it. that is how I did the hexagons. Here are just some close-up photos. They're the ones that I posted on Instagram. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I will list in the description box below the stencils. Even though I had it come up on the screen, I will still list them down below. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate all your views and all your comments. Thanks so much. Bye.